Magnesium. Magnesium doesn't get the hype of creatine or caffeine, but when you're deficient, it quietly destroys your training without you realizing why. Your muscles run on ATP, and ATP only functions properly when it's bound to magnesium. Without enough of it, your cells struggle to produce the energy needed for powerful contractions. Lifts feel heavier, recovery slows, you feel weaker than you actually are. Here's the kicker. Roughly 70% of adults don't hit the recommended daily intake, and intense training depletes magnesium even faster through sweat, stress, and higher metabolic demand. Research published in the International Journal of Sports Nutrition shows that correcting a deficiency improves strength and power, but only if you're actually low. Magnesium is not performance-enhancing on its own. It just removes a hidden bottleneck holding you back. Food sources like nuts, seeds, leafy greens, and whole grains help, but absorption drops with age, low stomach acid, alcohol intake, and certain medications. That's why magnesium glycinate and citrate are the most reliable supplemental forms. Aim for 320 milligrams daily for women and 420 milligrams for men. Splitting the dose and taking it with meals improves absorption and avoids digestive issues. It won't turn you into a superhero, but it will restore power output, sleep quality, and recovery to baseline levels, which, for many lifters, feels like unlocking strength they didn't know they had. Correct the deficiency, and your training stops fighting against your physiology. Omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s aren't just heart supplements. EPA and DHA literally become part of your muscle cells. They integrate into cell membranes, increase fluidity, and make the muscle more responsive to anabolic signals, meaning better nutrient uptake, more efficient repair, and less inflammation sabotaging your progress. Research from the University of Washington and others shows that 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA/DHA daily can enhance muscle protein synthesis, especially in older lifters. For younger athletes, the benefit is subtler but still real. Lower inflammation and faster recovery. Chronic inflammation elevates cortisol, reduces insulin sensitivity, and blunts growth signals, all things that omega-3s help control. Here's the problem. Most people don't eat enough fatty fish to get ideal levels. Plant-based omega-3 sources like flax and chia contain ALA, which converts to EPA and DHA at shockingly low rates, often under 5%. Meaning if you want performance benefits, supplementation is the straightforward route. Look for purified fish oil to avoid heavy metals, or algae oil if you're plant-based. Take it with a meal containing fat to maximize absorption and reduce the fishy aftertaste. It takes a few weeks of consistent intake to fully integrate into muscle tissue, but once it does, inflammation stays low, joints feel better, and recovery becomes noticeably smoother. Omega-3s won't slap on size by themselves, but they ensure the environment inside your body is primed for growth, not fighting against it. Beta-alanine. Beta-alanine is the supplement that helps you survive the part of training everyone hates, the burn, the acid buildup, the "my muscles are on fire" zone where most people quit, and where a ton of hypertrophy actually happens. Beta-alanine delays that shutdown by raising muscle carnosine levels, which buffer hydrogen ions produced during high-intensity efforts. Studies from Ghent University and the University of Oklahoma show that 4 to 6 grams per day can raise carnosine levels by up to 80% over several weeks. That translates directly into more reps, longer sets, and more total training volume, especially in sets lasting 60 to 240 seconds. High-rep squats, RDLs, drop sets, finishers, CrossFit-style work, conditioning circuits. This is where beta-alanine shines. It's not a strength booster. It doesn't help your 1-rep max, but it lets you operate deeper into fatigue before your muscles physically shut down. More controlled suffering equals more growth stimulus. The tingling you feel after taking beta-alanine, that's paresthesia, harmless, temporary, and not tied to effectiveness. Splitting the dose across the day or using sustained-release capsules minimizes it. Or just take it all at once pre-workout if you enjoy the buzz. This supplement doesn't directly build muscle, but it extends the window where you can build muscle. More reps under tension, more metabolic stress, more hypertrophy. Citrulline malate, pump plus endurance. Citrulline malate increases nitric oxide production, which dilates blood vessels and floods your muscles with oxygen, nutrients, and fuel. More blood flow doesn't just give you a better pump, it delays fatigue and extends your ability to push through high-rep sets when your muscles should be quitting. Research from the University of Mississippi found that lifters taking 8 grams of citrulline malate before training increased their bench press performance by 52% on the final set, the set where fatigue typically destroys your output. That's not a feeling, that's measurable work capacity. Other studies show reduced muscle soreness 24 to 48 hours post-workout, meaning faster recovery between sessions. Here's how it works. Your body converts citrulline into arginine, which then produces nitric oxide. Nitric oxide signals blood vessels to relax and widen, increasing circulation to working muscles. The malate component also plays a role. It helps clear ammonia and lactate during intense exercise, reducing the metabolic waste that causes that deep, exhausting burn. Unlike stimulants, citrulline doesn't spike your heart rate or make you jittery. It just sustains output. You don't feel invincible, you just don't fade as fast. The effect is most noticeable in moderate to high rep ranges, especially on compound movements where blood flow becomes the limiting factor. The effective dose is 6 to 8 grams, taken 30 to 60 minutes pre-workout. Some people split it into smaller doses throughout the day, but the pre-workout timing captures the acute performance benefit when it matters most. Citrulline malate is also one of the few supplements where the pump actually correlates with performance, not just cosmetic fullness, but real muscular endurance. Better blood flow, more reps before failure. Citrulline extends your work capacity right when fatigue tries to shut you down. Caffeine. Caffeine isn't just a wake-up jolt, it's one of the most researched performance enhancers in sports science. It blocks adenosine receptors in your brain, the chemical signal that makes you feel tired. With adenosine blocked, neurons fire faster, adrenaline rises, focus sharpens, and suddenly that heavy set feels manageable. Meta-analyses covering hundreds of studies show caffeine boosts 1RM strength, rep endurance, sprint performance, and power output. Research from the University of São Paulo found that trained lifters using caffeine pre-workout increased bench press volume by nearly 12% compared to placebo. That's not placebo. That's real weight, real reps, real stimulus. The optimal dose sits around 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, taken 45 to 60 minutes before training. For a 180-pound lifter, that's approximately 250 to 400 milligrams, roughly 2 strong coffees or a standard pre-workout. But tolerance matters. If you're sipping energy drinks all day, your receptors are dulled. Cycling off caffeine for 1 to 2 weeks resets sensitivity. The only trade-off is timing. Caffeine has a half-life around 5 to 6 hours. If you lift at 6 p.m., you might still be wired at midnight. Poor sleep wrecks recovery. Recovery wrecks progress. That's why morning or early afternoon training works best. Caffeine doesn't build muscle directly. It amplifies intensity, and intensity builds muscle. Protein powder. Protein powder isn't a magic muscle builder. It's a tool that guarantees you hit the daily protein target that does build muscle. Your body repairs and grows muscle using amino acids, and without enough of them, growth simply doesn't happen. Most lifters fall short, not because they don't know better, but because eating enough protein every single day is inconvenient. Whey digests fast and spikes muscle protein synthesis thanks to its high leucine content. Casein digests slowly, keeping amino acids elevated for hours. Blends give you both. Meta-analyses from the Journal of Sports Nutrition consistently show that lifters who hit adequate daily protein, whether through food or powder, gain more size, more strength, and recover faster. Your target is 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. Whole foods first. Protein powder fills whatever you're missing. It's cost-effective, easy on digestion, and solves the "I'm too busy to cook another meal" problem instantly. Post-workout whey? Solid option. Casein before bed? Also good. But what matters most is simply total daily intake. Protein powder doesn't build muscle. Daily protein intake builds muscle. Powder just makes the number impossible to miss. It's just a tool, but hitting your protein target consistently is one of the most powerful things you can do for growth. Creatine monohydrate. Creatine takes the #1 spot because nothing else matches its combination of effectiveness, safety, and research volume. This supplement directly increases your muscle's phosphocreatine stores, the fuel system that regenerates ATP during high-intensity, explosive work. The more ATP you can regenerate, the more force you can produce before fatigue shuts you down. Hundreds of studies show the same outcome. Creatine increases strength, power, work capacity, and lean mass. It helps beginners see faster progress. It helps intermediates break plateaus. It helps advanced lifters squeeze out meaningful improvements when gains usually crawl. Unlike other supplements, creatine builds a foundation your entire training session relies on. You don't feel it acutely. You feel it rep after rep, session after session, as your strength numbers rise and your ability to grind through sets improves. Dosage stays simple, 3 to 5 grams per day, year-round. Any time of day. Loading is optional. Drink enough water and you're good. Creatine doesn't burn fat. It doesn't boost hormones. It doesn't replace hard work. It simply increases the energy available to your muscles, which makes every set more productive, every workout more stimulating, and every training block more effective. That's why creatine is the undisputed king. It doesn't add muscle directly. It supercharges the training that does.